All right. Good morning, everybody. Brad Roltkin here with the Fresno Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Investors Group. Today, we're talking about trading versus hodling. Um, we haven't talked about this topic specifically. We've talked about hodling. We've talked about trading. We talked about some trading bots probably once a year for the last couple of years. But Michael, which I hopefully will be joining us here shortly, um, he and I will talk kind of about this trading versus hodling at our in-person get-togethers, and so I thought it'd be something good to talk about, here and get some other people's opinions, that kind of thing. Um, when we talk about trading, this is kind of just a disclaimer well, not a disclaimer, but a kind of a warning. Some folks have gotten into, these trading programs, which turn out to be scams and that kind of thing. So I just offer, that warning, and, be careful what you're doing when you get into these programs. Um, the trading bot, I've been into one um, for just about a year now. It's called EasyBot. And I'll show that real quick just to kind of emphasize the difference in some of these programs.
Hey Jonathan, what's up?
Oh, hey, Dave, let me mute you here. Oh, there we go. Um, so I've been involved in these ones where, and actually, well, I've only gotten into one, and it was kind of with free money, so it wasn't a big deal. But these ones where you send your money somewhere and they're on this platform, and you see the profits and this stuff coming in, and then you end up sending in more money and more money, and then everything goes away. And you're like, wait, what happened to my money? Type of thing. So those are the ones that we want to avoid. So real quick, this EasyBot, this is my dashboard, and this is one of those ones where it connects to um, uh, a centralized exchange, and so all it's doing is it's doing the trading for you. And these are the ones that I like and recommend because you have full control of your coins and assets at all times. So real quick, and if you guys want more on this one, I think it was April last year, March or April, we did a meeting all about trading bots, and actually had one of the founders of EasyBot on to explain a little more about it. But I'm using the free version, and it allows you to do two different bots. So I've got, oh, actually, let me share the screen. Will make a lot more sense. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. Here we go. All right, can you guys see that okay? All right, good. Thanks. Okay, so I have two trading bots. And so this one I'm trading Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So you put in Bitcoin, and then as it decides to trade, it buys Ethereum. And then it doesn't buy, your full amount you put into the bot. It just, trades 10%, 5% at a time, that kind of thing. And then, when Ethereum goes up, then it sells it and it puts it back into Bitcoin. This other bot is you put in USDT right here, and then it buys Matic or Polygon. And then when it sells, it goes back to USDT, that type of thing. And so here's kind of a scoreboard at the top of the trading that's gone on. And so Michael asked me, he said, okay, you've done this for about a year. How much have you made? And I said, well, I haven't put more than, I started with just literally $200. And then at a little bit later, I was up to about $1,000. I didn't have more than $1,000, and over, I guess, 10 or 11 months now, I've made $256. There's probably a little bit less than that because I closed out one bot when it had some trades at a loss that didn't get sold because I switched over to Ethereum and Bitcoins. But still 20%, something like that, isn't too bad. And this deleted bot total, this is the amount of profit that I had in the bots that are not running right now. So that's why I'm looking at the total here. And just to show you on the other end of that, on Kraken is the exchange that I'm connected to. And so switch over to that one. And so it's showing me this is how much Bitcoin I have. This is how much Ethereum, Polygon, that kind of thing. the amounts may differ a little bit from here because I kind of tricked the bot a little bit to put in some more funds, so it trades a bigger amount. But that's why that difference differs than the numbers here. So again, when it's on the funds are always in Kraken. I haven't sent the funds to some, Joe's super duper platform or that kind of thing. They're always in Kraken. If this EasyBot system or program went down, all it would do would mean that the trading would stop in my Kraken account. So these are the ones, if you do get into some kind of a trading program, make sure it's or trading bots or something, make sure you have control of your funds at all time in your centralized exchange. There's plenty of them out there in different systems that do it this way. If somebody says, oh, I got a better way or something, I'd be a little bit leery of that. So enough with that. Real quick, let me show you our, this is kind of our homepage for the group. If you go to fresnobitcoin.com, we've got the links to our meetup group, future meetings. We've got a small Telegram group. We haven't done a whole lot there. The most important one is probably the recordings of these previous meetings. If you want to go back to watch the full run of the trading bots or anything else, you can click there. It jumps you over to YouTube. Our Facebook page, we don't get a whole lot of action there, but once in a while. And then here is a link to this trading bot, if this EasyBot, if you have any interest there, as far as that goes. Dave, oh, he's on the phone. Has anybody else used any other trading type of bot or anything like that? Let me unshare my screen here. Yeah. Have you guys? Go ahead,
I
Mark.
have, yeah. Yeah, no, I've used, I was doing something back in September, October. I was using Trading View to get I guess the buying patterns and to try and, I think your bot is probably more like, does it work on slippage, or how does it, or how does it make the money? Is it just basically, you buy it one price, or is it, how does it, maybe you can just go in a little more detail about that, because the way you're doing it's different than what I was doing.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you all the mathematics and that kind of thing as far as how it works, other than I was involved in another bot prior to this one that was out of Taiwan and China, which made it very hard to use because it was the language. And so
Yeah.
there were, literally parts of the site that were only in Taiwan,
Mandarin, yeah,
whatever it is. I don't
Cantonese,
know.
or yeah.
Again, it's like I
Yeah,
said, English is my language and that's it.
yeah.
But it worked very well until the market went down and it kind of got stuck. And so there were parameters in that system that you could go and tweak and modify. It's kind of like adjusting the carburetor under the hood and the timing and all that kind of stuff. And
Right.
so there was a gentleman that had adjusted those and made the bot work again under the current market conditions, because this was like 8 months after it started, 10 months, so it had been working for a while before the market went down. And so then kind of the word in the community got around, and there was a gentleman out of Florida here that was using it and was kind of building a community here and helping with some English resources and that kind of
Right.
thing. And so the info that this gentleman was actually out of Dubai had figured out to adjust, got around, and a couple folks that had probably 6 figures, trading, said, hey, if you want to like create your own bot and do this whole thing, we'll fund you to do it, pay for the coders, that kind of thing. And that's how EasyBot was launched. And so they're really trying to make it easy, and we don't have to know all this stuff under the hood. It's literally get in the car, push the pedal and go kind of thing. But I will
But
show you.
you still have to pick the proper pairs though, right? Like you're like, USDC to BTC or Ethereum to Matic. Like you still have to, I think that's where
Absolutely.
the magic is, right? That's what I didn't really understand, because I was, I was reading up on a Discord where people were doing things that were altcoin versus layer ones, and saying, okay, we're going to do Ethereum to uh, I don't know, I can't think of any,
Right.
like
Right.
Dogecoin or something like that, right? And they were doing some sort of pairs with that, and that got me a little bit nervous because some of those altcoins can fall off the map or go to 0.00001 in a matter of a couple of days. So I kind of didn't jump in on that, but it looks like you're using more stable coins.
Right. But not stable USDT type of stable coins, but um
I guess like
let's
top
call them
20,
coins that we
top
have
20.
more confidence in type
Yeah.
of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
when they I don't know how many coins they support now because they don't support all of them, but it was about 30 or 32. So I
Okay.
went through those and I said, okay, which ones are the most volatile? Because volatility is useful for this kind of day trading, so to speak.
Hmm.
And so I picked and that point you could only trade against USDT.
Right.
The Bitcoin they added, it's been a few months now, sometime last year. So it was I chose Matic and then Cardano
Hmm.
because those out of those 32 or whatever it was, those were the most volatile. Obviously, we know about them. They've been around for a while, and they pretty much only supported coins you've heard of, type of thing, and that
Right.
were supported by it when they launched. What were they using? KuCoin and Binance, and
Mm. Okay.
Binance US, Binance.com. Yeah, now you can probably use Binance.com. We can't, and all that mumbo jumbo. So it was
Mm.
also limited to the coins of the exchanges that they've launched that they're working with. Since KuCoin went down, then they added Kraken, and now they've added Coinbase. Coinbase isn't a great one for trading because of the fees. That's another story.
Right.
So correct. All you do is you pick the coin that you want to trade, and then the um amount that you want to put into each bot. And I think the minimum is, depending on the exchange, it was like 300 or $600 per per pair. But what I
Right.
did is, even though I had maybe, let's just say, $400 of funds in that, available on my exchange, I told it that I had $600 or $800. So then when it would do the trades, instead of doing like $20 a trade, it would do $40 a trade. And the
Right.
trades on it are, I mean, this sounds crazy, but everything I've seen, it's true. It's literally they're 99% winning trades.
Mm.
So now
Wow, that's cool.
that means if it goes down, it's going to hold that trade until it comes back up. And obviously if the market goes down 30% tomorrow, the bot can't do anything, but it will hold the trades, and then it will start trading, because it keeps some of the funds available to trade if the market goes lower. But the downside of that is it's not using all of your funds to trade. That's why I was trying to trick it to trade
Right.
more per trade, because it was winning. It was like, well, I want to make money on $40 a trade instead of $20. But at
Right.
one point last year, things went down, and it went bad. And I said, fine, I'll just sell out of everything and I'll book that as a loss, for taxes. And then I started the bot at that lower level, and then it gave me more funds to actually trade with. And I figured that was going to be a better long-term strategy than just sitting there not having as much trading going on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
So you don't have, there's no leverage. There's no leverage on this then, right? It's all just
absolutely not.
okay.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, that might be something you can do within
No, I don't want to do
Kraken.
that. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I just, yeah, I mean, I would have to know more about it because it seems risk to reward is probably good, but yeah, you could get in a lot of danger too if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah. And again, all this is doing is just making the trades at Kraken. So, there was, I don't know yeah, I think when I had the Cardano and the Matic trading against USDT, it was going, going, going. And then I had it over, I told it I had more money there than I did, and it traded so much, all of a sudden it ran out of USDT. I had 0 USDT in the account, so the bot couldn't buy anymore.
Right.
And then it sends you an alert, or flags or whatever, but that's just because of what you have in your account. If you've got $10,000 of USDT in your account and you only tell it to trade $1,000 in that bot and $1,000 in another bot, it's not going to touch the other $8,000 in your account. It doesn't know how much you have. That's the kind of the funny thing, because I told it I had like 400, even though there's only 200 in the account, and it didn't seem to go check. It just kept working until it ran out of money, which is
Right.
fine, because that let me over trade it or whatever, that kind of thing. But this is the history here of the trades. And so, like, see, we've got each of these numbers will go to one, like the matching trade. Let's see. So
I'd still making more than my ASIC miner is right now. 20 cents a day.
And
yeah,
those numbers are in USDT, right? Those aren't like Matic
correct,
coins, right?
correct. Yes. So like the quantity, this is like the like the $20, roughly it's trading each time. And it's got a strategy where the first couple will trade like 20, but then the third one trades 40, and then the fifth one trades 10. Or again, Mark, I don't know the underhood kind of thing. Now there is, if we go to settings here, there, yeah, so here's your initial, or you can set that.
Okay. That's cool.
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, here's where you could go in and make. I thought I could do that. Let's see if I make it inactive.
Well, don't wreck your bot if it's going.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, to answer your question, I can't answer it because
Yeah.
I don't know all the parts. But that was the beauty of it to me, because when that other Taiwan one was going, it was like, okay, guys, let's set it this way, and there was like 5 parameters, that, and then people
Yes.
start,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, just go. And then I'll just, because I don't want to check it all the time. This just runs. And the only problem I've had is when I ran out of funds because I over, funded the bot, so to speak.
Well,
So
it's kind of the
there's
whole theme of the thing where it's like what's the opportunity cost? Is it going to be better to have this kind of mathematical trading and kind of holding money in USDT, or is it better to just have a bunch of Matic and ride the market? You know what I mean? That's
right.
kind of like the philosophy debate of this meeting, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me jump over to the other bot, just because after using it for a while, my understanding and realization of it has changed. So when they launched the Bitcoin versus Ethereum bot, I was excited because my goal, ideally I'd have my funds all in Bitcoin and Ethereum and then some altcoins, here and there. So with this bot, I was jazzed because all of my funds would be in one or the other of those. Where the problem with the Matic USDT bot is sometimes if it's done a bunch of profitable trades, 80% of your funds are sitting in USDT. If the market goes on a run, everything's gone up except my USDT, which, isn't as cool. So I was jazzed to see the Bitcoin one, and then they're supposed to be adding one the other way. So you can start with Ethereum and then trade into Bitcoin. And if you have those two, then no matter which one is going up, you're kind of making money either way. But what I found is that the actual trades that happen are a lot fewer than the Matic versus USDT, because there's not as much volatility between those two coins. So it's great I have my funds in there, and as the market went up, so if you go back here, I did add $300 about a week ago. So like how I said, I started with $1,000, and then added the 300. Well, I'm up 900, $1,000 from there, partially from the trades, but then a lot from Bitcoin going up, over the last year. or well, I was probably only doing Bitcoin for 6 months. But anyway, so like David's point is that, do we just sit there and keep the Bitcoin or Ethereum in our wallet, or put it in here? And so my point is that I didn't get as much trading activity in this bot as the other one. So it might be like 5-to-1, 6-to-1. I get that many more trades over here. So now I'm debating this internally is getting out of the Ethereum Bitcoin bot and going back to the Cardano USDT, so I have more trading going on. But I'm finding myself, I don't want to get out of Bitcoin because I still want to ride that. Now I have other Bitcoin and more Bitcoin that's not even in here. I practice what we preach, and don't have all your funds on an exchange, all that good stuff. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep this until we had this meeting so I could show you guys that trading pair. So yeah.
Hey, Brad,
So
I have a question, Brad.
yeah.
Sorry. If I sign up for this, do you have like a referral link that you get? Because I've never heard of this bot before, but I'd like to try it out, and I'd like to I know there's a lot of referral codes and stuff that you might get some
Yeah,
credit
and
or
you
some
actually,
points for.
I think you actually have to do that. So if you do this, go to fresnobitcoin.com and
Okay.
click on free bot to trade crypto. That will take care of it. And we do have a recording. After we did this, a few people signed up, and we did another session of the onboarding process of basically connecting to your exchange, the API keys and all that kind of stuff. So that's there. The recording is over on our YouTube channel here
Okay, cool.
for that.
Brad, how about taxes? How do you keep track of all these? Does the do you do it through Kraken, or because there's going to be so much activity, right? That probably a nightmare at the end of the year.
That is one of the downsides of trading is the tracking, and I've been debating whether to do our annual taxes meeting in March or in April, because I know everybody seems to wait till the last minute, so we'll do it one way or the other. And we do have recordings of the last 2 years where we talked about the taxes, but to just the brief point is that there's tools out there that will do all the tracking for you, and you either connect those to your exchange like the Kraken or Coinbase or Binance, whatever exchange, and through the API it'll grab all the transactions. It'll track when you moved 500 in Bitcoin from one exchange to the other, so it'll recognize that that's a transfer and not a taxable event type of thing. You can also put in your Exodus wallet, your Trust wallet, whatever wallet you have, MetaMask, whatever, and then it'll track all those together as well. So there's tools for that, but your comment is valid, because all of those are their fees are based on how many trades. So I know I did another trading thing that was a little more manual maybe 3 years ago, and my number of transactions for the year went from like 200 to like 2,800 or something like that. So I had to pay for the next tier up on that one. But even if you don't use a trading bot, you still need one of those tools, unless you're just some crazy Excel freak and want to try to track. The problem is you don't know how much Litecoin was on August 15th of last year, and to try to track all that gets crazy. So that's why you want to use a tool. Some of the ones that if you just have a small number, like maybe 50 transactions, they have actually a free version that'll do it.
You mentioned Kraken. Can we use Kraken in the US?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The SEC
My
keeps
favorite.
coming down on them, but yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they just got rid of. I mean, in Canada, I think they got rid of some staking. I think you can't. There's some stuff now that you can't stake as much as you could before. But other than that, I think it still
Yeah.
works. And
Thank you, Securities and Exchange Commission, for ruining that. I appreciate that. Jerks.
thanks, Gary.
Yeah,
Exactly.
thanks, Gary. Way to go,
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is his
So
term up? Can he get voted out? I wish he was. I wish he was gone.
No, we're just gonna elect that guy.
yeah. Yeah, no, they've messed up, and it's like they still don't seem to understand crypto. It's like, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, anybody else?
Hey,
See,
Hey, Shannon.
can I share a cool chart that I found that I think is kind of I'm going to use this as my strategy for this bull cycle market.
okay, yeah, yeah, you should be able to share. Go ahead, Dave.
Let's see, share this. Here we go. So this is a pattern that I found. I've seen some other people talking about it. So there's kind of like two phases. There's like 500 days before the halving and then 500 days after the halving. So focus on the 500 days after the halving. That's almost always very, very close to the top of the bull market. So if you're looking for a time like, hey, when should I take profit? So roughly about between a year to a year and a half after the halving is typically when it peaks and starts to go down. So, this is where I'm going to be looking to take profit and then kind of like then try to wait and buy back in around 500 days before the halving for the next halving. So like, I don't know, past performance is not a guarantee of future results, but this is some pretty compelling evidence that, hey, if you do this strategy, you're going to have pretty good luck. Maybe this one will be different just because there's so much corporate adoption, but that might fuel it even further longer. You know what I mean? I don't know, but this is kind of what I'm going to be doing for my selling the top kind of plan. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Where do you get that?
I saw it on a random like Facebook post, and then I kind of like just Googled it, and then there's like a few different websites and things that talk about it. There's articles, just patterns trying to follow the charts and historical data. So you can just kind of Google like 500, 500 days after the halving kind of peak of the bull market, something like that. And that's kind of how I found it.
okay. So during that 500 days after the halving, what are you just going to be holding? You're going to be trading?
I'm going to be holding. I'm also in like a lot of those investment funds that are the decentralized ones where I'm getting profit on those.
Okay.
Some of them like LiquidX is really safe. The other ones are like more high risk, but I'm having some pretty good luck with some of those. So I'm right now I'm making like $200 a day off of one of them. I'm really happy with that one. That one's going great.
Yeah.
But this one, this is just to basically hold and try to sell at the top kind of strategy. So I bought a bunch of altcoins. I kind of got about half in Bitcoin, half in altcoins, and I'm just gonna let it ride. I don't like babysitting my investments. I just want to put it in and watch it grow, and then I'll try to sell the top of the market, but I don't want to try to buy and sell all the time. That's just I always screw it up when I try to do that.
Yeah, that's why the bots are good, or just hodling. So this is actually the market cap, or is this Bitcoin itself?
This is Bitcoin itself, just Bitcoin, and this is historical. 500 days before the halving is kind of the bottom of the bear market, and then 500 days after the halving is the top of the bull market, typically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you look at that, it's pretty freaking spot on, like every time. The bottom of the market 500 days before the halving, the top of the market 500 days after the halving.
Okay.
So roughly a year and a half before, a year and a half after, roughly.
Yeah. So I agree with you that with all the corporate adoption now and all these, I mean, I get a alert on Telegram from some channel that, about every week, it's like, okay, now there's this much, billion under the
BlackRock's
ETFs.
fund.
Yeah, or the two, I think it has the two top ones or something, but it just keeps going up. And the first time it was like 3.2 billion, then 4.6, and the last one I saw was like 7.3. But that's still chump change in the overall financial market.
And also, it's just sweet irony that Bitcoin was designed to kind of take the power away from like governments and corporations, and then like who's buying it all? Now it's all good corporations that are going to buy it all. You know what I mean? Then they're going to have all the voting rights, and hopefully they don't screw it up. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, this is a good chart, just to kind of illustrate, because sometimes, you can look at the numbers, but the charts really help.
But that's an interesting point you say, Dave, because was it Michael Sayer that I think has, his company has 190,000 Bitcoin right now. So it's almost not decentralized, or at least it's going to be that point at some point down the road where he's got what is it, 8 point something billion worth of Bitcoin. His company does. Like that's a little scary, you know, as far as
Yeah.
you know, individual
Well,
people that own Bitcoin.
I'm not worried about him personally, just like the BlackRock and Vanguard, all those guys. Well, not really
Yeah.
Vanguard, but the other ones that are ETS.
Arc,
Yeah,
and yeah, Kathy
we'll
Wood.
see. I love. I think my favorite is Jamie Dimon. You know what I mean? He's like in Congress saying, "I would put it into it," and then like, "Yeah, we're going to start a Bitcoin ETF." Yeah.
I think I agree with you guys, Michael Saylor, and I think Kathy Woods. They're real big pros on Bitcoin. So them having large amounts of it, because Fidelity, maybe it was BlackRock the other day, passed $3.2 billion worth of Bitcoin. So they in a month have caught up with Michael Saylor, who's been doing this for years. Not
Yeah.
caught up with him, but they're a third of the way there.
Yeah, right. He's
So
yeah,
you know,
almost.
give them a year, give them 18 months from now, and they'll be surpassing 160,000 Bitcoin each. And so, you know, I think that.
But if that money represents, you know, the shareholders in the ETF, at least it's not the one company like Michael Saylor would say.
Yeah, but Michael Saylor is, you know, what do they call that? A Bitcoin. Well, he's a Bitcoin fanatic, you know, so he's not going to do any. I think he has the safest hands. Not that safe hands can't become problematic at some point in time. People are people. Things change, you know, but I find it very difficult to believe that he would do something that would be detrimental to Bitcoin's ascendance. I do have a question there for Mr. Daily Profit there.
Yeah, Dave, what's up?
Dave, yes. I'm curious. I see, is that a 500K mark at the upper right-hand box under halving 4?
It is. That's their prediction, I guess, for the next cycle here. That would be
so that's over like the next 18 months. So basically around later 25.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when this one was published. I guess you can kind of extrapolate from the chart there a little bit, but yeah, we're like a month and a half in the halving or whatever, 2 months. So yeah,
that would be the fourth one. So that would be 4 years from now, right? Because I think having 4 would be.
This is the fourth one, right? I believe.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
This is the fourth one.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, because it looks like the chart stops, well, maybe a year ago, like right above.
Yeah, because it's probably about a year old chart, but yeah, it's still the.
Yeah, so we get
if you focus on the historical
gist.
things.
Yeah.
What's the number on that green bar to the far right?
Let's see if I can. Can I go to the side? I don't know how to go to the side here. I don't know. I can't zoom sideways.
That's what the price was at the time, wherever that green bar is.
Let me go into my I can't.
My guess is it's probably around 25,000. That would be my guess.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
Well, if the top of this chart was, I mean, because the top was 69,000.
Let me go to the web page. Oops, here. I can share the web page that I got it from. Let's see. Maybe I can zoom in on this better. No, it's not really getting the resolution there.
Yeah, the resolution probably isn't there.
Yeah.
It's
It's just you just kind of Google the articles and stuff, and it's how high will it go? When's the top? You know what I mean? It's always impossible to time it perfectly, but it seems like a pretty good guideline to do.
So where does he think it's going to go? Was there a number?
Sorry, someone's calling me.
Oh,
did I mute him? There we go.
Is it Michael Saylor?
Yeah, oh yeah, I probably heard his name mentioned. He called daily. Yeah, Michael. So I credited you with the topic of this meeting at the beginning, because you and I have been talking about this, strategy of hodling versus trading. Where are you at currently on that? Because what it really comes down to is if we got $10,000, do we keep it all just in Bitcoin and Ethereum, or just Bitcoin and sit there? Or do we put 5,000 and trade that, or we put 1,000 of the 10,000 in, where are you on that kind of breakdown? And again, the numbers don't matter whether we're working with 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's just more the percentages we're talking.
Sure. For the most part, I've traded in and out over the years, but for the most part, I'm a holder. I mean, most of my Bitcoin, the majority of my Bitcoin has been held for 2 years plus. The only other thing that I own right now is Solana, and from the mid 40s. And so, I'm more of a hold at this point in time, simply because Bitcoin is getting to a point where look what we were up this week. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we were at 38.9, 38.6. And yesterday we were at 48 and change, the highest close in 2 years. So, right now, Bitcoin is quite possibly able to go from, $5, $7, $10,000 spurts at a time. I'm not nimble enough to trade that. And plus I don't want to pay taxes because I have a huge, I have a capital gains will be massive for me. So, but on terms of other things, I still like like I said, I'm a little bit in Solano. I sold my Ethereum to buy this Solano, and I'm fine with that. But if you've got an extra $500 or $1,000 that you're just willing to blow, I would take a look at throwing in some money here and there for a trading vehicle. But for me, this is going to pay off my house, and so I need 2025 and early 26 to get there.
Yeah, you've mentioned that for for a couple years, and it always seemed like so far off.
Since 2017, when I started with like, I don't know, $2,000 in 2017, July 2017, my whole goal from that moment on, I had a 5-year plan. I thought I'd be there by now. So I had to extend that in 2022 to another 5-year plan.
Yeah, well, but it seems like we're a lot closer than when at least I first heard you mention that. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I just said, I think the end of this year, I think November 129K is where we're going to be in that area. And so, and then, who knows what happens in 2025.
Okay. So to sum that up, and based on what you're thinking the HODLing with 90% of it, 95% is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, I think when you're in a bull market, trading it, you're going to miss out on things unless you're really good, unless you really have a really spectacular type of program that can really mark the points, entry and exit points. I think HODLing right now is your best bet.
Okay.
I think it's less stressful too, to be honest.
100%.
And if you're a believer in crypto long term, which I think most of us are, it seems to make more sense, where I think we get excited about the trading, like, oh, look what I made $17 today, or, whatever. And that looks good, but it's more of a kind of an income thing as opposed to an investing thing. And then like you talked about with the taxes, then, that has that effect too. So if you think it's going to go up 25%, well, just let it ride, as opposed to trading it in and out, and you end up in the same spot, but you got to pay 30% in taxes.
See, that was the thing that I learned about that experiment that I did from 22 to 23 on that Ethereum.
Right.
Is that the taxes I end up having to pay did not surpass. I would have been best just to leave it alone, to leave it in there. And I made more trading it than I would have if I left it alone. However, after taxes, I was below it. And plus I had all that worry, like Mark was saying, if I just left it there, I wouldn't have to worry about it. And I still wouldn't have had to pay any taxes. So, so right now for every 20,000 in Bitcoin of cost, I'm up 37,000. So, so for every 20K, I'm positive 37 above that. So that would be 57 for every 20 that I put into it. So I got to pay taxes on 37,000. And, I'm hoping I have to pay taxes on 370,000 at some point.
Yeah, so you have enough left to pay off the house.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to end up, selling a coin or two, and then I'm always going to keep some. I always have some. I'll always keep Bitcoin just because I want to see where it goes. I don't know if I'll be alive when it hits $1 million, but I want to own some when it gets there. Somebody in my family will enjoy that.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy Wood said that's going to be like in a year or so.
Yeah, she's a very interesting lady, and she's very optimistic about things. And I don't know. I mean, to get to $1 million in a year, you're talking about many, many multiple $10,000+ days, some $20,000 and $30,000 days. I mean, you need 100 $10,000 days to get to $1 million, right?
Yeah, well, the higher it gets, that's the smaller percentage gain that becomes. You know what I mean? So, like I'm not the crypto tax expert, but one thing I've kind of discovered, basically because I kind of create my own problem here, I move my crypto around way too much to in and out of investment funds, between exchanges, into wallets, in and out. Like, I completely lose track of my cost basis. I have no freaking clue. I do try to keep spreadsheets of like, yeah, I put in this much and I pulled out that much. That's kind of the only way I can do it. But if the IRS, unless you keep your stuff all in one spot and never take it out, they can't really follow it very good unless you're like a big whale where they're going to do a blockchain audit on you, which is pretty rare. It's really technically it's almost like the honor system. Like, hey, can you please tell us how much profit you made off of this selling of this crypto? Because if you keep it all in one spot, it's easy. The exchange will do it for you. But if you move it around, it's like, I don't know. Tell me how much you made, please. So it's like kind of.
That's what those tools are for. I mean, the tools will track that if you move it from, KuCoin, when we could use KuCoin over to
Robinhood or something.
So, I don't like to mention Robinhood, but
I don't.
But those tools will help with that. I think JV was unmuted and had her camera jump on. Did you have a question or comment you want to jump in on with?
Oh. Oh, no, I didn't really have any questions. I'm really just listening, trying to learn and decide if I'm going to hop in. I mean, I would like to. I've tried so many things in the past that didn't work, but I'm still hopeful that I can find a trading bot that'll work.
Okay, so you're kind of leaning towards the trading to kind of get that active income thing. Okay.
Yeah, so I just hopped in to see what you guys are about, and it sounds good. I might try put in a couple hundred and see what happens.
Okay, yeah, and like I mentioned to Mark, if you go to our FresnoBitcoin.com, it's got a link to the EasyBot one that I've been using, and we do have those recordings of that, if that is something you want to try. And again, I still use the free version of it, and what they do is when you make a profit, they take a little piece of the profit, and I'm like, well, fine, if I make $10, I'm happy to give you $1.50 or whatever it is, because you made that $10 for me, but I'm not paying a monthly fee. They have one where it's like an annual subscription for like $100, and then the fees are lower and you can get 5 bots or something like that. But I'm good with, I'm still using the free one here a year later. So don't feel that you got to, jump into one of the higher ones. Just try the free one, try it for a month, see what happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Cool. And just be careful, JV. We were talking earlier before, maybe before you joined, but we're just talking about some scams too. So just be really careful on, where you put your money, because there are a lot of scams out there. You'll put in $100 and then the site is actually fake, and they'll show you that you know on that $100 now you're at $800. And you know, my cousin actually got scammed for about $2,000 on that, where she she started the exact same way. She put in like $100, and then the website was 100% fake, so it showed back that her $100 turned into like $700. So she thought, oh, this is great. So then she put in another $500, and she kept putting in, and then the account just got locked out, and that was done. Like she couldn't get a hold of anybody, and so she calls me up and says, hey, Mark, I'm you know, I got like $2,000 in this account, and you know, I can't get it. You know, have you heard of this company? And I said, no, I've never heard of it. And she was out $2,000. So just be very careful on, you know, if you're not sure, just don't do it. It's safer than you know.
Or reach out to us, or post a message in the meetup on group, or you know, something like that. There's a gentleman that had started was interested in the EasyBot when we started like a year ago on that, had that meeting. And you know, I mean, not everybody shows up every meeting or whatever, but he checked with me a couple months ago and is like, hey, can you look at this? And it was one of those things like Mark had just mentioned, but it was you know, it was a few more digits than what you mentioned. And I was sick, because I'm just like, what? So if you have a question, you know, first of all, I mean, the only true way to keep a hold and control your funds is if it's in your central exchange, and the trading system, bot, whatever they call it, uses an API to connect to your account, that you know your Kraken account is legit, your Binance account legit, Coinbase, whatever. Right. And so when people will message me, or I'll get these scam messages on Telegram, and I say, does it use an API? And they're like, no, you use our platform, because our platform is better. I'm like, block, delete, click, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Literally, you know, I mean, because this is money we're talking about, not just, you know.
Yeah, I've been through several scams. Believe me, I've seen it all. Just
okay.
Oh my God. I've even was in this one group. I'm not gonna mention the name, but I was in this one group. Oh my God. You know, they would have live meetings every week, and it sounded great. Look good. Yeah.
And they're gone. Yeah.
Well, no, they're still around doing their stuff. You know, people come the way they have it set up. Oh wow, boy, oh boy. It's a new day out here. Anyway, yeah, I'm very particular. You know, I usually don't put in more than, you know, 200 or 300 when I start out with something. But they just had scam after scam. It's like, and now there are companies out there that will investigate your case, and they'll get your money back. And so I'm reporting several companies already.
But
because
some of those are scams.
Some of those are scams. I haven't found that out yet.
Yeah, or they want, you know, $200 or something like that. It's just, you know,
it's probably the same company.
Oh no.
You know, we'll scam them this way, and then we'll come up with a company that will investigate people who are scamming. But we're scamming, and we need $200 up front.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And they already have your contact info.
And then next thing you know, you're in the hole another 10 or 20%. That's why you know, that's the thing about crypto, is that there are so many different coins, and there are so many different exchanges, and there's so many different you know, avenues in which to do things, and you've got to make a determination as to what is your goal, right? And you know, sometimes younger, different can bring interesting innovations, and sometimes it brings scam. So that's why I just stay with the old horse, Coinbase for most things. I still want to do the thing that Brad did with those bots. I haven't done it yet. I've just been very busy with work and just really haven't had the time and energy to look into it. But Brad, you said you've been at that a year now, and you had some 20% returns. I mean, a full year is a great time frame to understand whether that's a workable deal. But for the $1,000 over time that you put in there, right now you have about a 25% profit. Is that right?
Right. And I shared the screen earlier. It was like 256 but there's some, it's probably maybe $20 less than that because I got out
Yeah,
of the trade.
but roughly 25% in a year. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good, what do they call, like, that's like passive
Return on
investment.
investment, yeah, ROI, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a passive investment.
APY, yeah.
You get it going and you pretty much leave it there. You like most people do in a mutual fund, right? You know, you buy it and you leave it, you look at it once a year, and I don't do that. I trade mine. I mean, man, I had a freaking outstanding week trading in my IRAs this week. I mean, I was in ARM. I don't know if anybody follows stocks, but I bought ARM at $72. I sold it at 110 in 2 days. Bought Planeteer at 1670, and I sold that at 2350. And then there was one other one that I had, NetCloud or something like that. And I bought that at 72 and sold that at, actually ARM I sold at 121. So this was a really good week because I actively managed my accounts. But in something that Brad was talking about, you could just set up the bots, you know, check them once a month, whatever the case may be, you know, if things change in terms of what's more profitable. But you just leave that alone. You put $1,000 in there at the end of the year, you get 200 to maybe 200, $250. You know, you put 10,000 in there, you bring home 2,000, 2,500. I mean, those are good returns.
Yeah, but there's an opportunity cost too, because like if you would just bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin a year ago, how much would it be worth right now? You know what I mean?
That's
upside downside.
the
People are
gist of the question.
triple, you know what I mean, says opportunity costs. So
Right.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, people like to diversify a little bit, and you know, so buy and hold. So some stocks I just buy and hold, and some stocks, like, I sell covered calls against them, and some stocks I trade. And same thing with Bitcoin. 95% of what I have in Bitcoin I've held for a long time. And then, you know, sometimes I do experiments like I did with Ethereum or like Solana. But I still like that idea, Brad. You're gonna have to remind me where that was again.
Okay. Yeah. If you go to FresnoBitcoin.com, I shared earlier, we have links to all of our group, you know, the previous recordings, future meetings and all that. And it's on there. So just FresnoBitcoin.com.
Okay.
The link is on there. And the thing to
JB,
remember too, and kind of going back to Dave's chart, is that, you know, he's right. If we would have bought, you know, just bought and hold the Bitcoin over the last year, we'd be in good shape. But the trading works, you know, when the market's flat. So it might be like, okay, if we, you know, get to that having 500-day point, you know, then maybe let's move, you know, 40% into the trading instead of just 20% or something like that. Because with the trading, you're not dependent on the market going up. It's the trading activity. So, you know, obviously one strategy works better one time or the other. We could fudge a little bit one way or the other.
I just have a question for, I just have a question
Go
for
ahead,
JB. So do you also have like a hardware wallet? Like do you have any crypto now, or are you just getting into it?
No, I have some crypto. I just have crypto in my Cash App.
Okay. Because the other thing is,
I have a little in Coinbase and a little in my MetaMask, and I have about, you know,
don't say the number. Yeah, don't. Okay, I was going to say, because you might want to consider. Yeah, don't say the number, but like that might be something you want to look into, is getting a hardware wallet like a Ledger or something like that. Because if you're gonna, this is just my own personal opinion, because I have a background in security, and any of the coins that I'm hodling and not selling and not, you know, doing any, just keeping, I have those all in hardware wallets, so they're off the exchange, they're off. You know, they're off anyway, you know, you know, so I have that kind of as a self-custody. And, you know, there's a couple of good, you know, you can do some research on it, but I think there's like one, is it Treasure or Tracer, I think it's called. And Ledger's another good one. And if you're going to buy those if you're going to buy those devices, buy them right from the website. Don't buy them from like Craigslist or you know, any type of you know, even Amazon, stuff like that. Just buy it right from the website, because then you guarantee that it's legit, and you guarantee that there's no you know, software or something on it. Yeah, right. Because you can there's been stories where, people are selling these old crypto wallets and they're saying, oh, it's $100, but I'll sell it to you for 40. And meanwhile, it might be a hacked version or something. So
Okay.
just go right to the website, to Ledger or whatever it is, and buy it right from there. And then you can keep your crypto in a safe space.
Yeah.
Okay.
And kind
Okay,
of
thank you.
intermediary between those, if you don't have a lot of funds, people start with a couple $100. I hate to see them spend $100 on a wallet.
That's true too. Yeah.
So if you use like the Exodus wallet, I think is
Yeah,
real good
private
because
wallets.
you could have it
Yeah.
on your phone or your computer, or the Trust wallet. Either of those are good.
Okay.
I would do Exodus just because it does the phone and the computer, and some people
And
like
there's a lot
one
of
or the
coins
other.
there too. There's a fair bit. It has
Yeah.
It supports a ton. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Phantom, Rainbow. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Let's see. Oh, Lewis unmuted. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yes. So I had to walk out a little bit from the meeting, but do you guys talk about any services for trading? Because I know that, I haven't done it myself. I HODL, but I've been tempted to do it, and I've seen some of the newsletters, and they get pretty pricey, from some of the people you follow on YouTube and stuff. So anybody has any suggestions about, where to go if you want to do trading? What kind of resources are there that you guys trust?
Yeah, that's
You
a
mean
good
trading
point.
yourself or someone trading for you?
Can you repeat that?
Are you talking about trading yourself where you're doing the trading? It's like an exchange where you go on and buy and sell? Or are you talking about like a service that's where you put in your
No,
money
like
and
a
it's for you?
yeah, no, more like a service where people who do the technical analysis, and they know that this is going to what's the name of this guy? Verify Investing, I think. Yeah, you know who that is.
There's there's so many
There's
different
so
options
many
out there.
different.
It's like
Yeah,
there's a million of them. It's
right.
just depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for, there's literally like ones you put in your money and they do all the trading for you. There's ones where you connect like to a bot that connect like a MetaMask to a bot, and then the bot will trade for you. Or you can just go onto exchange and buy and sell for you. There's informational services that just kind of give you tips. So it's just there's so many different options out there. Like it's just you got to define what you're trying to do exactly.
Yeah. So the one that I mean is the one where you join a like a newsletter type service sometimes, and they say
An informational type thing when then you would act on the information and buy it yourself kind of situation.
something like that.
Um,
Do you guys use any of those, or any? Because I've seen some pretty good ones, people that sound really good on YouTube who have a lot of followers, but the prices, the subscription prices are pretty big.
Yeah,
Like
just
the
be
annual.
careful where you're sending your money. If they, like we talked about earlier, I think the best ones are where there's an API that connects to your exchange, so you're not actually sending your funds anywhere.
Right,
They're
right.
just in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
exchange.
yeah.
Let me show you. There was,
Yeah. Do you know any kind of informational websites that would kind of say like, "Hey, buy this coin at this specific time"? Man.
yeah,
I don't really have anything that I could recommend.
let me go back, because we did a meeting all about trading,
The-
and there's
the-
some subscriptions that you can follow, like certain people with certain trading philosophies, and so you
Right.
pay like 30 or 40 bucks a month, and then
Right.
you connect to this API,
Oh.
and when they trade, you trade. So it's kind of like a mirror trade. So if they're trading,
Yeah,
2% into one, it trades 2% of your fund, of how much you're doing. That
there's
kind
a
of.
bunch
I
of
like the
like
idea.
pages
It
in
was
Europe
more
that
like
do but they're blocked in America. America is such
Right.
blockers. I hate it. Like my favorite, there's one called Bybit, I think it's called. It's like a really big one in Europe. And there's a bunch of famous crypto investors. You can follow their trades and it automatically does. You just connect the API to your account or whatever. But of course, America blocks it. So yeah.
If you use oh gosh, I got to think. Hold on here.
A VPN won't get
A
you around that.
VPN.
They
Like
don't. Those won't work.
You still have to KYC.
Oh,
Yeah.
They can detect. They'll say you have a VPN, turn it off before you can, and then you have to do KYC. So
Yeah.
that too.
that's too
I
bad.
did that because
VPNs can hook up, in the Netherlands or London or wherever, and that's where they think that you are. So
Yeah, you got to get past KYC on those too, because they're centralized exchanges. And that's what you want. You want to be on a, something reputable. Unless it's like you can go to Uniswap, something like that. You can get some kind of thing that connects API wise to like a MetaMask where you're still in control of the funds. Usually those are not too bad.
there is a guy that I follow on Twitter, and I follow him a long time. It's at Big Cheds. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him, but he has a subscription service. But I'm not a trader, so I didn't really get into it. But or on X, whatever they want to call it these days. And so they have a whole plethora of people that they'll talk about trades, and they're pretty good at what they do, but it's like 350 for a quarter. He had a short one for like a month for like $25, and I tried it out. And there's lots of videos and stuff on there. The guy's really pretty good at what he does, but it's not attached to a trading vehicle per se.
Right.
You might be, maybe if you get in deeper with it, they might be able to do that. But I just looked at it as, technical analysis and how he went ahead and did things with that. But again, I know Louis, you may not have been here, but buy and hold, especially during a big bull market like we're entering now, we're just entering now. Buying and holding is probably your best bet unless you're really nimble and you have the ability to know when to sell it and know when to buy it. And I've been doing this for 6 years, and that's still a mystery to me.
Louis,
to be perfectly honest, it's still a mystery to me to know, when it's going to be what,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
Louis,
had a thing back way where I bought at 29, thinking 29 was the low. And then I bought more at 23. Oh, 23's got to be it. And then then it went to like 16 or 7 or something. And I don't know if I had the guts to buy it then, because it was just like, okay, all right, I'm getting whacked every time. But now I've got a bunch at 29 and 23. So, and we're 47 now. So I'm a happy camper, but trying to figure out, where I could buy it and then get like a $2,000 or $3,000 jump out of it. I ain't that smart. It's way smarter than me.
And Michael,
frankly, all of us.
I have to tell you a story, Michael. About a year or so ago, when Terra Luna was doing that, when it crashed.
Yeah.
So I had some. I'll tell you a story that. So I think it was at like a couple dollars at this point, and I had already put like a couple $100 into it. And then when it tanked, I thought, you know what, maybe they can recover because they depegged. So you know what, I put like another couple $100 in, and when it was at like like 10 cents or something like that, and then it just kept going down to nothing. So I tried to gamble on that one and ended up losing out on. I lost out about $400 on that one. So wasn't too bad, but
it's a lesson learned.
One of my bad decisions, like, oh cool, it's at a really low. I'll get some Terra Luna at like 5 cents, 5 cents each, and then it kept going down. I'm like, God darn it. So
I have friends of mine. They'll have stocks and go, well, that stock used to be like $87 and now it's down to 17. And I'm like, there's a reason for that. We buy at 17, maybe we'll get a jump to 24 or 30 or something. And, next time we talk about it, it's 7. It's like you bought more at 17 and now it's 7 and you had some at 87. Okay. All right. How's that going for you?
Yeah, hey, Louis, if you take a look at our previous recordings of our meetings, we had this one back in October of 21 where we talked about all kinds of different trading strategies and stuff. So this is the YouTube of it. But if you look at the little links down below, if you click on this Google Doc, it'll take you to a Google Doc that has links to the ones that we discussed. But just 2 of them to highlight real quick. One of them is this BitsGap. And this again uses the APIs to connect to your centralized exchange accounts. And it actually does a lot of different things. It's pretty cool. So that's one thing to look at. And then this other one that kind of goes along with what you're looking for is called Crypto Hopper. So this is a trading bot that you can customize, but the niche that they have is this marketplace of traders. So what you do is you subscribe to this crypto hopper. It attaches to your centralized exchange account. Then you pick one of these traders, like let's just pick this first guy called the Conqueror.
Napoleon.
Yeah. And so
Napoleon.
for $29.99 you get 3 months of updates, and then when he trades, then it trades for you, just what he did. And you can read his strategies and philosophies and all this kind of stuff down here. And sometimes there's one guy that's got a couple different trading strategies, but you can look at the I think there's like reviews or ratings, how many followers they have, this kind of thing.
I find it very interesting that crypto has created so many subcategories, and this ecosystem that is being built around crypto, things like this, that really 5 years ago, 10 years ago didn't even exist. And now obviously the scams you got to watch out for, but that people are making a living off of a lot of this stuff,
Right.
and it doesn't necessarily have to do with them with their ability to trade. It's the ability to show other people what to do, a subscription model type of thing. And
right.
that,
and obviously if there's thousands of people, like here's this 3,800 guy, 6,300.
That's why.
Yeah, they're, they wouldn't be paying even the $10 a month or whatever if they weren't getting some value out of it. So that this seems to kind of go along, Lewis, with what you're asking for. So it's kind of like that newsletter model. Like, okay, find one of these that you like, that you believe in, and then jump on them. And maybe you do, $1,000 with person A, 1,000 with person B, 1,000 with person C, or whatever. But at least you're not dropping $1,500 for a newsletter subscription or whatever.
Right.
Crazy number.
So this one actually trades for you, right?
Right.
It mirrors the trades of those people.
Correct. That's how this system and subscription trading model works. So you just set it up and then you let it go. Because to try to follow their, even if they come out with something at 6 a.m. in the morning and like, oh, buy this today, buy that. It's like, we all are busy and have lives. We can't, at least I'm guessing most of us are in that situation. And that's why it's nice to just have the bots do the work for us.
And the other part, then that's on the trading side, right? On the HODL side, because I got into this like at the top of the last bull market, and I didn't know much, so I missed it, and I'm still waiting for the bull market to start, right? But I did experience firsthand this whole psychology of fear and greed, right? Because I did see it go down to they went down to $15,000 Bitcoin, and didn't grab any because I was listening to all these channels and people, oh no, it's gonna go down to 8,000 and all this. So I guess it's more of a developing that that mindset and that psychology that will help you during those times, because those are the tough times when you have to, And then I also hear about the what is it called, when you average your investments, the dollar cost
averaging,
right? And that might be probably more effective, because I just get too fearful, or when like a few weeks ago when Solana was ripping through all these numbers and it got to 120, you got so excited, you get the FOMO and you buy some, and but I was able to get some cheaper too. But I guess that's more of an exercise of being very disciplined to be able to drill down into your mind, and don't get too excited when it's going up, and have the discipline to wait until it gets cheaper. But
Right.
Let's see. You just develop that doing it, right?
Yeah, and that's a personal thing we each have to learn, and stay strong. Or that's sometimes that's what's hard with actively trading, because those emotions come into it. So it's part of the fun, I guess. Let's see, check in with Susan or Phil. You guys have any questions or comments or thoughts on the trading versus hodling?
Good morning. I love the conversation. I'm learning so much.
Good. Glad to have you here. Any thoughts?
I'm so into stocks. but so I don't plan to do any of this, but it's so good to learn about it. So when I'm talking to people, I understand what they're saying, and if I do decide, if I change my mind, then I've got some foundation.
Good. Okay. Well, that's, I mean, that was the thing when the group first started. My goal was to just get folks to set up a wallet, put in $100 to Coinbase and buy $50 in Bitcoin and $50 in Ethereum, and maybe transfer that to another exchange. And then if they could just do that, I felt like we had success, and we've come a long way, because now what we're talking about is, hey, how can I make money? How can I make more money on this stuff? Which is great. But if you haven't started, I would encourage you at least just to go through that process of, getting a Coinbase account, putting in a couple bucks, and then transferring it to like a Ledger or an Exodus wallet or that kind of thing, just so you know how it works. Because to me, that's like learning how to cross the street. And once you can cross one street, you can cross the next street and the next street, and you can literally go anywhere. But until you learn how to cross that first street, you're kind of stuck where you're at.
Yep, that's a great point. It really is. Yeah, it's like just I don't have to jump in. I can just do baby steps.
Yeah, $100,
Yeah.
but just that process of linking and all that. And then if something happens and, God forbid, our monetary system goes wonky, you're like, hey, I got $500 in Bitcoin on a wallet, and I could buy a chicken from the guy down the street, to eat tonight.
Uh-huh.
That
So
kind of
what's
thing.
the name of the small coin? Because I'm assuming people don't buy 1 Bitcoin. There was a smaller.
Well, no, but you buy a fraction of it. You buy $100 worth. You don't have to
Okay.
buy a whole one of anything.
Okay.
Everything is just, I mean, Bitcoin is down out to 8 decimal points.
There's
Oh,
1
okay.
million Bitcoin or 1 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just
Okay.
$100. But sometimes even the percentage is usually, Coinbase might get you, if you try to buy $10 in Bitcoin, there might be $3 in fees. But as long as you're doing $100, it's not too bad. But don't think you have to do 10,000 or buying 1 Bitcoin for 48,000 or anything like that.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Just like you said, baby steps. But
Uh-huh.
I would
Yes.
encourage you to take a step.
Yes.
Okay.
Just remember, the more governments print money, the more valuable Bitcoin is going to become. And do you think they're going to keep printing money? Yeah, they're going to keep doing
Yes.
that.
That's a
So
mess.
just remember that, so that's kind of encouraging for Bitcoin.
And one other thing to keep in mind, Susan, is that Bitcoin is finite. The amount of Bitcoin is finite, which is not true of every other coin. I don't know of any other coin that has a maximum number. Bitcoin can only do 21 million, and that number.
Ethereum.
Huh?
Ethereum, that's going down. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think,
well, it's going down, but I'm just saying, but it doesn't have a max. And the max that it does have is pretty high. Bitcoin only has 21 million. And the thing is that there's probably close to 2 million that we'll never see again, right? So the entire Bitcoin world is maybe 19 million, maybe 19 and a half million. There's tons of people that have thrown computers away that they mined 50 or 100 or 1,000 Bitcoin when they were a penny or when they were a fraction, that those computers got tossed a long time ago. And then there's the halvings. So there's less and less Bitcoin being put out on the market, but you have massive institutional adoption, which means you have massive amount of people who are wanting to buy the billions, buy the tens of billions of dollars. And even the most, the very last Bitcoin, none of us will ever see unless one of us gets the elixir for long-term life. And I asked nicely, because we're all friends here, share that. 2140 is the last Bitcoin halving, or when the last Bitcoin will be mined, excuse me, not halving, the last Bitcoin will be mined.
2140?
2140. So yeah, a little, about 120, about 115, 16 years, whatever it is, away. So, you're looking at an asset that has a built-in inflation protector. all this money that they keep printing, that's why we have inflation, is because there's
Mhm.
more and more of it, and people are chasing more and more of it. Inflation, some would say inflation will go up when you have a situation like Bitcoin is. And in Bitcoin's case, that's true. It will go up because you have more people wanting it and you have less available there. So it's an investment that is definitely worth your time. And even if you took it and put in 100 or 250 a month and just put it in Coinbase or something, and just automatically had it taken out, like you do your 401k, right?
Mhm.
And then you look at it 3 years from now or something, you will be blown away by your return on that. Bitcoin is already in 2023 was already by far the highest asset, highest rising asset. And in 2024, I mean, it's not beating NVIDIA right now. Nothing's beating
It
NVIDIA.
will though.
Huh?
It will though.
It will, but right now it's not. But I mean, you know, NVIDIA is a super, super special case, you know. And so every day
Well, I
I
don't
think
think,
of selling
Michael,
NVIDIA, I stop because the next day it's up, you know, $20. So
I think NVIDIA is
Mhm.
up because of Bitcoin, though, or not, maybe not Bitcoin, but all the miners out there that are buying
It's
GPUs.
no, actually shifted there to the AI focus because they're like the number
Yeah,
one
is it?
AI
that's
company.
the
So
key.
Okay, yeah,
they're all AI. Yeah, it's because
When
that makes sense.
with the changes to mining, really their
Yeah.
graphic cards aren't as good for mining as they used to be. You know what I mean? Because everyone's gone away from mining because of the whole ESG, energy, environmental stuff.
Okay,
But really only
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and they have different. You know, they don't really use graphic cards for mining Bitcoin. It's these specialized
No.
ASIC machines, whatever they're
Yeah,
called.
they have
Well,
to
when
SHA-256,
Ethereum did its
yeah.
stupid thing in September of 2022, that's when they screwed it up. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was mining about 6,000 to 8,000 a year in Bitcoin on my machines, on my NVIDIA machines, you know,
Yeah.
my NVIDIA cards. And now I'm probably mining $500 a year. So that's brutal. But
Yeah.
well, just it wasn't last week, it was the week before. I think it was Meta that came out and they said, we're going to purchase 360,000 of these N40s or N400s from NVIDIA. 360,000 cards, and they're average 40 grand a card. So you just start doing the numbers on that. 360,000 times $40,000. I mean, that's I don't think my little brain can work that out. That's a lot of money.
That's a few bucks. Yeah. Frank, I reach out in the chat. If you have any questions, do you want to put it into chat? I know the phone's not working for you to get on.
Do you mind if I kind of give an update on my LiquidX stuff?
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, I'll share my screen just kind of so everyone can see where I'm at. Share. Let's see. Here we go. So I put in 15 grand in this. I'm up like 4,000 so far, but they actually just announced kind of like a big announcement that they are going to be eliminating their deposit fee soon. That was kind of like a big, kind of set you back 6 months to break even from the deposit fee. And for the people that don't know what it is, they use it's a liquidity mining fund on Uniswap. So they basically take all the money in the fund and they use it to put into the liquidity pools on Uniswap. So they're making money off trading fees. So they're not actually doing any trading themselves. It's just basically making money off trading fees. And it's run by a famous crypto investor named Alex Muir. He has his own YouTube channel just focusing on trading Bitcoin. But they pay like roughly like between 6 and 7% per month. So this has been my returns every month since I've been in. So you can just see kind of like the amount just keeps growing up. Like it was, this was only like a couple days in April. It's like 700, 800, you know, then it goes up to 900, 1,000, 1,100. So I'm really excited for when they eliminate that deposit fee because then you can start making profit from day one, and that should be coming in the next month or two. So I think after that happens, I'm going to put a lot more in just to kind of ramp it up because it's compounding.
And you're up 4K and what time period?
I started in April of last year. So like originally, like currently they have a 30% deposit fee, which is rough, but they use it to pay all the referral commissions, kind of like that stuff. So they're going to get rid of referral commissions. They're going to get rid of the deposit fee. And then I would be up a lot more. I mean, I have a whole, like website with all information on it. I have like a profit calculator, like how much you can make. So this is my website, dailyprofitdave.com. But let's see. Let me get down to the calculator here. I kind of updated this for like when after the update happens. Say if you put in like $1,000, it's 100. Like how much you would make. So this is like your kind of cumulative balance. This is like the monthly interest. So roughly about a year to double your money, and then like if you go extrapolate a few years, like whatever you put in about 4 years is going to be your monthly profit. That's kind of where I'm aiming at. So like I put in 15,000, that's going to just go crazy. You know what I mean? In 4 years, I'm going to be making 15,000 per month from it. This is compound interest. Every month your interest is earning interest and it just snowballs. So I mean, I'm just really looking forward to kind of as it goes. So it's there's so many scam funds out there. I'm really careful about what I kind of promote to other people. I really trust this one. I really like it. So
Have these guys been around a while?
they've been around since 2020. Originally, it was only available to like $1 million plus investors. So that yeah, it's pretty cool. Let me show you the guy that runs it. Let's see. The guy, his Facebook name is AM Crypto. It's this guy. So this is the founder of it. You can pass this ad here. He's a pretty interesting guy. So yeah, that's Alex Muir. He's the kind of the guy. His name is AM Crypto on YouTube. So he does a lot of he just focuses 100% on his channel on Bitcoin trading. He has tons of videos on it.
So the money you're making off this is the transaction fees. So they're sort of like the middleman in between somebody buying and selling or transferring or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So basically, technically, you can just do it yourself. You know what I mean? You can just go to Uniswap and go to the app, like connect your MetaMask or whatever, and you can connect it and go in and like you could let's see. Let's see if I can kind of show you what it looks like. I'm not on Ethereum network. Yeah, you can kind of play around with that stuff if you want to go to Uniswap. You can kind of go in, connect your Ethereum wallet or whatever. You can go in and put money into these pools, but there's a lot of like you have to kind of babysit it, and I hate babysitting. You know what I mean? So I just want to put in my money and watch it turn into more money. You know what I mean? That's what I like to do. So
I like to put in my money and watch you make more money. So I like that. I like you.
I put a little disclaimer on the top. I'm like, hey, breaking news, don't deposit any new money into it until they make this new change. I mean, like I don't want people to take that 30% hit. So just wait a couple months. I'll let everyone know when it happens. But yeah, like I have like overview videos. I have my referral link. It's kind of explanation what it is, like history. So I'm pretty comprehensive on my website here. If anyone wants to just dailyprofitdave.com, it's kind of the website. If shameless self promotion here. Please check out my website.
Yeah, but at least we know you, Dave, and you've been around, and I mean, I've known you for what, 15 years, 20.
Yeah,
I hate to remind us how long it's
longer
been.
than my kids have been alive. So he's 16 now, so probably like 18 years or something. Like 19 years.
Oh, good. If you want to put any of those links into the chat,
I can just go to my website.
Okay, Mark, good to have you on. Hope to see you again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, guys. Have a great day, sir. I got to take my daughter to dance, so I got to run. But all right, it was nice meeting everybody. And
priorities,
Yes, yeah. I got to pay for dance with my something other than crypto, though.
Well, at least you can hold on to your crypto that much longer. That's good.
Absolutely.
For now, one of these days, you just put your phone up, click, there it goes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Have a great day, guys.
All right.
Thanks
for joining us. Let's see, Phil. Any comments or questions?
I've been enjoying the conversation. I'm a longtime trader, but new to crypto. So I just recently opened up accounts with Coinbase and Kraken just to compare them. So I have a very small portfolio now of 8 coins, all layer 1 coins. Yeah, just some comments on the bot. the only thing I don't like about the bot is that it doesn't close losses. So there's really no risk management there. So I have to think about that. In terms of trading versus, I don't know if I could ever get used to saying hodling, but let me do it for this group.
You can just say holding.
Yeah, I think clearly if you have an edge in trading, then that's the way to go. But that's so difficult. I mean, it's just really tough. Look at how many hedge funds close every year, and they have lots of resources, lots of smart people. So, holding would seem like the way to go if you're long. If you have a bias towards being long a bullish market, which everything looks that way. I mean, with the ETF bringing in more money, and with the halving and the pattern Dave showed, that is very reasonable, I think, to hold. Or if you're trading, to only trade the long signals and to ignore any short signals, with knowing you have a bias for the market going up. I'm going to look at Dave's website very closely. Very interested in LiquidX.
Yeah, that one's really good. But yeah, like I said, wait. Hopefully by the end of the month or next month, they will have the deposit fees removed, and that's when green light go. I think I'm going to dump a bunch more money in there because I don't have to wait for the break even point in 6 months. You can start making money from the first month, and it's just kind of like, I'm curious to see what's going to make more of my Bitcoin or LiquidX, because I think I can get like double triple my money some years, depending on the exact rate of return fluctuates depending on what they earn. So it's anywhere between like 6 to like 7-8%. They're supposed to increase the cap all the way up to possibly 10%, but it doesn't mean they're going to get 10% per year, or per month, I should say. And they pay out once a month on the first of the month. Whatever they earn for that month, they just pay it out. You get an email say, hey, this is what you made. You can go back in your office and see what the percentage was for that month. So yes, it's really big experience. They pay out in USDT. It's in and out USDT, and then you just sell it in the fiat and cash out. And there's a 3% withdrawal fee, and they process withdrawals within 2 days, usually within a day, but maximum 2 days, because they have to pull it out of the liquidity fund and send it to you and everything. And it's all automated. Everything's automated. So like they have a proprietary kind of bot they bought off the German government that's specialized for the blockchain. So they can handle like thousands and thousands of users. That's kind of like what there's other things like this, even the legit ones, they just, once they have like 20-30,000 users, they just get bogged down with like manually doing every transaction. Like this one, the bot does everything like automatically. It takes your money, puts it into the bot, does it for you. When you do a withdrawal, it kind of automates everything. And just, so they can handle a limited number of users basically. So it's pretty cool.
What's the minimum deposit on that?
Technically it's 50, but I recommend starting with at least 100 if you can. And you need USDT in either the Tron format or the Binance format. So Coinbase unfortunately only has Ethereum based USDT, which is annoying. If Ethereum's like the highest fees of all of the options, but yeah,
they do it from Kraken.
Kraken has it, Tron. Yeah. Or Exodus Wallet has it. If you have an Exodus Wallet, there's surprisingly, the American exchanges are really kind of limited. Everywhere else, like Binance.com, has like 1 million options, stuff like that. That's one the whole world uses, but the SEC really hates them. Yeah, they force them to fire their CEO or go to prison. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with that. I don't know.
I was just curious what you guys is just a brief take. What you guys thought about SBF?
FTX, you mean?
No, SBF. The guy, Sam Bankman-Fried.
SBF.
How will that affect, the security of crypto? I mean, it's just like
he embezzled $8 billion. It's not like the problem wasn't with the exchange. It was a problem with he had a hedge fund that was basically had an unlimited line of credit borrowing against their FTX coin in the exchange. So him and his buddies at their hedge fund basically bribed politicians, spent it on real estate and parties and bad investments, and embezzled $8 billion. And then they couldn't pay back when the market crashed, and the whole thing went up in smoke. So that's just straight up crime. You know what I mean? That's not really the problem with the exchange. It's the problem with the criminal running it. You know what I mean? He's like, oh,
Oh,
I,
I see what
I
you're
didn't do
saying.
anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, it was, and it's not a crypto problem. It's just like you said, it's a crime problem, embezzlement, fraud, whatever you want to call it. It just happened to be done with funds that were in a crypto exchange.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like Madoff, you know. The problem
Right.
wasn't stocks. The problem was the guy burning and stealing everyone's money.
Right. Okay. Got it. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments out there? I didn't see. Yeah, thanks, Frank. Got your message here. Keep it up. Good, good, good. Okay. So, any thoughts on doing the tax meeting next month or waiting till April?
I think March is probably a good time. You know,
Give
I
us
mean,
a little more time to work on it.
I kind of use.
I like March. Actually, I'm doing my taxes next week, so
Okay. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it in March. I like that. And then the people that
Yeah,
want to procrastinate, they can watch the recording.
Yeah, the tax software works good. Yeah, if you only use exchanges and wallets and stuff that are all on the blockchain, like I put so much money in and out of these crypto funds that are not compatible with any of these programs. It's just like I'm just better off using a spreadsheet. This is how much money I put in. This is how much money I took out. You know what I mean? That's kind of
Yeah.
for
A couple
me,
of years ago, I ended up using two different ones and kind of mashing them together. Because
I just
that's
have to I kind of ballpark it for my guy. I'm like, hey, I'm being as honest as I can. Here's here's what I made. So we'll
right.
see.
It's changing so quickly that I know I'm not 100%, but I'm thinking I'm 95, 98%, and maybe a better tool comes out in 3 years, goes back on the chain and picks up a couple
Yeah.
things I missed, and maybe they pick up losses I missed too.
I think in that tax meeting we should start creating a list of all the countries that have no taxes on crypto profits. Because if you ever become like a Bitcoin multimillionaire, you might want to consider moving to like El
Portugal is
Salvador
one.
or Argentina or something.
Portugal.
There you
Portugal.
go. There you go.
Portugal, yeah, there's some other ones, and we need to know these things so we can plan for like 10 years from now when we're all crypto multimillionaires.
Good
You know,
tip.
that's a good question. So if you bought it here and you held it for the next 10 years, let's say you didn't move it or touch it for the next 10 years, and you had, $3 million worth of it or something, and you didn't pull it out in the States, but you pulled it out in one of these countries, would you be immune from US taxes?
Good question. Yeah, that's why
You
that's
need
why
to
I
become a
want
citizen of the country that you're in. For instance, would you need to become Portuguese? I don't know. You wouldn't be called a true Portuguese. I'm half Italian, so I don't think that would work. But the thing is that, do you have to establish residency there?
You'd have to denounce your citizenship here to get away from that. Because there's people that have dual citizenship, but that doesn't get you away from the US taxes. You'd have to denounce your citizenship
Can
here.
you denounce your US citizenship and then get it back? I've never asked that or heard that.
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't think you
also
could
like
jump around.
a part of it is like the way the U.S. tax code usually works is like wherever you were living when you made the income was kind of like where you pay the taxes. Because I know that works like per state. Like if you work in a certain state and you get paid there, then you pay like taxes based on that state. But I'm not sure how it works internationally though. Like maybe it depends like where your residence is in the United States, kind of like the tax codes of that state. I don't know, like maybe that's a good thing. We should probably dig into that a little more and kind of we can figure it out next meeting in March.
Yeah, that's an
well,
interesting
what's so
one.
bad about paying taxes? I mean, the country's got to function. Somebody's got to pay for the roads and the libraries, the fire department. Listen, instead of trying to avoid paying taxes, just plan on making more money. That's the
There
way
you
I
go.
see it.
I like that.
Make more money.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one thing
well,
if you,
wouldn't pay
Michael,
less taxes than more. That's all.
yeah, Michael, if you want to move to Portugal, and, then denounce your citizenship and get citizenship there, that's one thing. But, I
I'm
don't
an
think you can
American,
really have,
baby. I'm an American. That's it.
yeah. So we pay our things. We, like Dave said, try to minimize it, but I like the idea of just making more. I remember talking to a tax guy 10, 15 years ago and was complaining about, I made this extra whatever and I'm paying all this. He's like, yeah, but you made that extra dollar. Yeah, you paid 30 cents in taxes, but you got to keep the 70 cents. And I was like, well, yeah, okay.
That's my thinking is that, 26, something like that. I'm hoping that we'll be over 350. And, in my head, I already have 100K that, it's say 350. I have 100K in my head that I'm gonna have to pay it, and then I'll walk away with 250. And I'll be okay with that. I mean, it'll be a real drag to see a
Are you
six-figure check.
Are you
go
holding it in Coinbase? Or are you holding it in a private wallet?
both?
And say like, yeah, the more I would, whenever you get it, like if you, I'm curious like how this is kind of like, it's probably going to be an evolving thing with the legislation. It's like, if you don't sell it, when do you owe taxes on it? You know what I mean? Like when are they going to, because like with stocks, they keep changing the rules, like the unrealized gains and how long you can like let it ride before you have to pay. And just depends on which administration is and how they're going to like there's all these like billionaires sitting on all these unrealized gains, and like they keep saying like, oh, you need to like a wealth tax and this and that. So like it's going to be evolving. Like, so whatever it is now is probably going to be different in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's
So,
a Democratic thing. The Democrats want to do all that. They think the rich people have all the money. And the thing is if you took all the money that rich people have, it would last maybe about 9 months. If you took every dollar that they had, even though they have hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars. I mean, it would literally, we're spending $2 trillion a month or a year or something now over our budget. So if you took every dollar that they had, you could only pay for things for maybe a year. And then you don't have any more money from all the rich people.
Yeah. Well, like people don't understand how big of a problem it is when currently about 30% of our federal budget is just interest on the debt. That's not paying off the debt. We're just kind of paying the interest on the debt. And then they keep adding another $2-3 trillion to it every year. And soon it's going to be 50% of the budget, then 70% of the budget, and then 100% of the budget. And they're really going to have to ramp up the money printers. And then you get into hyperinflation, and we turn into Venezuela. You know what I mean? So it's going to
fun times.
Yeah.
For those of us that have Bitcoin, it will be.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's why it's important to own Bitcoin. Yeah,
that's a good question right there, guys. So let's say 10 years from now, that kind of storm comes our way, that kind of shit storm comes our way, and we have a hyperinflation here, 10, 20% a month. So the idea with most people is they have Bitcoin, and in my head, I would sell it, convert it to fiat, pay off my house, and then I'd have cash. But in those particular scenarios, where $1 million in cash, I'm not saying I would get $1 million, but let's say $1 million in cash isn't going to be worth anything near what it, $1 million in cash now is worth quite a bit of money. But in a situation like that, that $1 million might only have buying power of 200,000, 300,000 compared to now. Right. So while $1 million sounds like a lot in that type of scenario that you described, Dave, so I guess that by 10 years from now, there'll be a lot more transactional things, Bitcoin to Bitcoin, people to people that are doing things via Bitcoin.
Yeah, and other cryptos too, probably. Yeah, it's going to be curious to see like kind of which projects become, obviously Bitcoin is going to be the standard, but there's going to be other projects that are more designed for like the peer-to-peer transactions, more like faster things, more scalable, kind of on because you can't sit there and wait like 30 minutes for every transaction, because the network's just going to get so overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So it's going to be something. It's going to be an evolution to see what works. And that's why I'm curious to see kind of the payment processors like Visa, stuff like that, all the interchange with the merchant services. how that's going to shake out and like which blockchains are gonna end up being the ones that are the winners. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Solana's really trying to partner with a lot of those payment processors, and that could be one of the big winners. I think that's part of the reason why it's up like 10x this year in the last year or whatever. I think that's a big reason. They're kind of got a lot of good corporate partnerships. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it plays out.
I was looking at it at $15, $16, and then I didn't get in till 44. I mean, I'm up almost 3 times, right? But
Yeah,
15 would have been a lot
could have
sweeter,
bought it
and
at
I
10.
could have bought a lot more.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the only reason why I'm in Solana is because it's a much faster system, and it has more chances of, like you said, peer to peer.
Yeah, they
fast
got
peer-to-peer.
issues with they're not as decentralized. They're more centralized in their kind of server stuff. So they've had some network issues in the past, but hopefully they've kind of gone past that. But anyways, I got to get going. Awesome meeting. I really appreciate everyone, talking and sharing, and hopefully my 500-day strategy works. Kind of that's my goal. Let's see if that's the top of the market or not. I'm definitely going to try to take some profit around there. I'm not going to sell everything, but I'm going to take probably my plan is to sell like half my portfolio and then kind of wait for the bottom, the 500 days out from the next halving, and buy back in. Just kind of see how that works out. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, maybe bring that up, updated chart, because maybe that one looks maybe a little old. So maybe every few months bring that up, and we'll kind of keep an eye on that.
I'll see if I can find a way to like update that, the graphics.
Cool.
So
cool. All right, guys.
Good talking to everyone.
Thanks for the meeting. And in
Thank
2 weeks
you.
we'll be at me and Ed's in person, and then we'll do the tax meeting next month here on Zoom. So have a great month, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
All.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Be
you.
safe out there and go Bitcoin.
All right.